Hello, beautiful people of the internet. How are you doing today? My name is Jackie and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today in this video, I'm going to be playing another round of my TBR game, Scrabble Picks My TBR. If this is your first time here, first of all, welcome. Secondly, I will link a video explaining the Scrabble TBR game rules in the card up above. It's a very simple game. Basically, every month, I spell 5 words in a game of Scrabble, and those 5 words are my 5 reading prompts for the month. I must successfully complete the prompt in order to collect the points from that word, and once I reach 150 points, I get to start over and reset the board. So before we get started today, let's talk quickly about how I did on my January TBR. I did read all of the books on my TBR, except for Shiver by Ali Reynolds. I quietly DNF'd this one. I never even added it on Goodreads, but I don't remember exactly how many chapters. I read several chapters and I just realized, you know, the way this book is written, I'm not sure it's really for me. I wasn't feeling it, and so I just decided to DNF that book. I just knew I wasn't really going to enjoy it that much. And in my game, I do count DNFs as a successful completion of the prompt. As long as I actually made a serious effort, I wouldn't count it, for instance, if I read 1 page and then just never continued. But since I actually did try to read the book and just recognized I wasn't going to like it, I feel like I still deserve credit for that because I don't want this to be a thing where I'm forcing myself to read books I don't like just because I'm worried about my points. So after January, I currently have 38 points. The goal is 150, so still have a ways to go before we dive into the February picks. Firstly, I want to talk about my must-read books for the month. I am participating in the Read Christie 2023 challenge, a reading challenge that is all about reading books by Agatha Christie every month of the year. I will link my Read Christie pile of possibilities in the card, and the book I am reading for this month's prompt, I've started it already actually, is Partners in Crime. This is the second Tommy and Tuppence book, and I am just absolutely loving this so far. Tommy and Tuppence are a husband-wife detective duo, and I adore them. I love their antics and their lovely banter. I find them so amusing and just really delights to read about. I also have 2 NetGalley arcs that I was hoping to read this month, and you may or may not know that I always film the prompts first and then later I go back and tell you what I've picked for the prompts. So I already know when I'm filming this intro what prompts I have. And let me just say, I think it's not going to be a problem to fit both of the arcs on the TBR, so I will hold off telling you what those are for a minute, and let's dive in to the prompts. We'll go back to Past Jackie to see what she picked. So these are the letters that I had left over from last round, and I need to pick 2 more. Q. X. Well, I feel like I have to use one of my star tiles to swap because I do not like these. I definitely want to get rid of those 3. Should I do the K too? I guess I might as well because I can swap as many as I want, and I'm only going to get this opportunity one other time, so I might as well make the most of it, and I will then pick 4 more letters. A. N. O. L. And then I will put these back in here. I am going to spell slow and read a slow-paced book. There are other ways you can interpret guess it could be like slow burn romance, something like that. But I have an idea in mind for this one already. So this would be 4, 5, 6, 7. And there's no special tiles under there, so 7 points. So as you can see, my first prompt was slow. For this, I'm going to read a slow-paced book, and I'm going to include one of my arcs for the month, which is The Golden Spoon by Jessa Maxwell. This is going to be published in early March, so I need to get a review out very, very soon. This is a slow burn murder mystery that takes place on the set of a baking competition. And when I read the plot description of this, I just knew I had to read it because my favorite genre of books is murder mystery, and I also love watching the Food Network and the Great British Bake Off. I am obsessed with Bake Off, so the idea of a murder taking place on the set of a baking competition, that just intrigued me immediately, and I was so pleasantly surprised to be approved for the arc on NetGalley. Thank you so much to the publisher for giving me a free copy in exchange for my review. Now I am using this for the prompt slow because I was looking on the Goodreads page for this book, and the one thing that I've seen a lot of people who have already read the arc say in their reviews is that this book is very slow paced, and it takes a long time to actually get to the murder. So that's why I used it for this prompt, and you will get to hear my thoughts in a review on my channel very, very soon. E. R. F. Female, which has the triple letter score on the F, so that is 12, 13, 16, 17, 18, 19. That's pretty good. And I am just going to read a book by a female author. Now, my next prompt is female. There are so many different ways that I could go with this because most of the books that I read are by female authors and/or about female main characters. I could have put Partners in Crime on the TBR for this, but like I said, I'm already halfway done, so I'm going to be finished very, very soon, and I don't think it'll be a problem for me to read 5 other books on top of Partners in Crime. And also, I wanted to fit my other arc on the TBR, and that book is about a female main character and by a female author. That is The Poisoner's Ring by Kelly Armstrong, the second book in the Rip Through Time series. This is a time travel historical mystery series following Mallory, a modern-day detective who finds herself transported back to Victorian-era Edinburgh in Scotland. She wakes up in the past, now in the body of a housemaid, and this housemaid, Katrina, works at the home of Duncan Gray, who is a medical examiner. Mallory, in Katrina's body, then begins to solve crimes in the past, while also trying to figure out how or if she can return to her own time period. I read the first book in this series last year and gave it 4 stars, so I was very happy to be approved for the arc. Thank you so much to the publisher for approving me, and I am very excited to read and review this book in February. E. So I've mentioned before that on the Notes app on my phone, I have a list of Scrabble TBR prompt ideas, and there is one on the list that I thought would be really fun to use, and I think I will now have the opportunity, so I didn't mean to do that. This is on the double word also. older. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 2 is 12. So I was born in February 1999. So for this prompt, I'm going to read a book that was published before February 1999. I thought this was a fun idea. I am excited to try it. Obviously, I could pick a classic for this, but I could also maybe do something like Margaret Atwood or something like that. So I'm going to see what I can come up with for this one. I think this is a fun prompt. I'm happy with this. So for the prompt older, read a book that is older than me. I need to read a book that was published before 1999. And I've decided that what I'm going to read this month is The Name of the Rose by Umberto Eco. This book was originally published in 1980, so it is definitely older than me. My dad bought me this book, and I know he's been anxious for me to read it, so I'm gonna give it a go this month. It is a bit of a chunker, but I am cautiously optimistic. I'm definitely excited to give it a try and see if I like it. This book was an international bestseller. It was originally published in Italian and translated to English in, I believe, 1983. And the events of this book follow a murder at a monastery. I don't know that much about it, to be honest, but my dad bought it for me because he thought that I might like it. So I need to read it, and I'm gonna give it a try this month. I think I'm also going to see if my library has an audiobook for this, then I can listen to some parts and also read physically in my copy. I think that would be nice, so I will take a look on the Libby app to see if they have an audiobook version of The Name of the Rose. N R V. I'm going to spell train. This has a triple letter here, so that's 4, 5, 6, 7. And read a book that is set on a train, involves a train somehow. I know I have at least one mystery thriller set on a train. Obviously there's always Murder on the Orient Express, but I've read that already. I have at least one mystery thriller set on a train on my TBR, so maybe this month I'll read that. Okay guys, I had a big brain moment with this prompt. Like, I think this is gonna be perfect. So the prompt is train. And obviously there are several mysteries on trains that I could have read. I could have read The Mystery of the Blue Train by Agatha Christie. I could have read Confessions on the 745? Is that what it's called? I think that book is set on a train, so I could have read that. However, this month is my birthday month. And so my mom and I are taking a weekend trip to Key West. And I've decided a perfect book to read in Key West would be The Last Train to Key West by Chanel Cleeton. I've never heard anyone on BookTube review this book, but I did read the first chapter on Amazon just to see if I thought I would like it or not, and I thought it seemed like it was well written and I was intrigued, so hopefully I will enjoy this book. I think it would be really fun to make a vlog where I read a book about Key West in Key West. I love this idea. I don't know if you guys are excited about it as I am, but I think this is gonna be so fun. This is a historical fiction book set in the year 1935, and it primarily follows 3 women who have all come to Key West, and their lives intersect when a very dangerous hurricane hits the Keys and brings the 3 of their lives together. Like I said, I really haven't heard anyone talk about this book. It wasn't even on my TBR technically before this, but another book by this author, The Most Beautiful Girl in Cuba, is on my TBR because I heard someone review that book very positively. I do think this would make super fun vacation reading, and I am excited to read this book when I'm actually in the place that it is set. And like I said, I read the free preview on Amazon before deciding whether I was going to read this book or not, because I just wanted to know if it was going to interest me or if I was going to like the writing. And the first sentence of this book is a really great first sentence. I've imagined my husband's death 1,000 times. That's a good first line. I really like that. It's instantly intriguing. Also, my mom went to the library to pick this book up for me, and when she was checking out, apparently the woman at the counter told her that she loves this book. So, hey, the woman at the library is a fan, so maybe I will be too. A. E. Oh, jeez. And T. I think this will be another fun one that I've kind of been wanting to do. So, vote, double word score, that's 5, 6, 7 times 2 is 14. So recently I've been trying to include polls on my community tab. I think that's a lot of fun, and I want you all to vote for the last book on my TBR. I will give you some choices, obviously, and then I will put a poll up, and whatever wins is the book that I will read. Viewer vote is gonna choose my book. I've been wanting to do this one. I think this is going to be fun as well. So for several months now, I have really wanted to include a poll in one of these TBRs, and finally I am getting to do that. I will post a poll on my community tab. It will go live with this video, so do go over there and vote. But first we need to talk about what you are voting on. I was thinking, what should I include in this poll? And I've decided that this is the responsible thing to do, and I kind of need a kick in the pants to read one of the books for my These Books Will Self-Destruct video. I posted this during the summer. Have not touched a single one of these books since then. Most of them, all of them actually, I believe, are young adult books I bought quite some time ago, and I don't really like young adult anymore, so I haven't felt motivated to pick any of them up. But I figured by including them in this poll, you all can give me the kick in the pants I need to read one of these books. So the 5 books you will get to choose between are A Study in Charlotte by Brittany Cavallaro. This is a modern day Sherlock Holmes inspired book where the descendants of Holmes and Watson are attending, I think, a boarding school, and they solve a crime together. Then Three Dark Crowns. This is a young adult fantasy I bought a long time ago involving 3 sisters who I believe are all involved in a fight to the death to become queen. Then I have And I Darken by Kirsten White. This is another young adult fantasy where the basic premise is what if Vlad the Impaler was a woman. I have read from this author before and enjoyed her work. I have Fox by Nadine Brandis. This is a historical fantasy inspired by the Gunpowder Plot. And lastly, Sky in the Deep by Adrienne Young, which is a young adult Viking-inspired fantasy. I have not picked up any of these books in the many months since I made that self-destruct video, so I need you all to hold me accountable and force me to read one. Now, if I had my way, which one of these books would I like to read the most? I would probably be the most excited to read A Study in Charlotte, which maybe means you all shouldn't vote for that. Maybe you should vote for a different one that I'm not as excited for and force me to give it a try. I would also be pretty excited for Kirsten White because I do know that I like her writing. This one, the Viking-inspired setting, intrigues me. This one I actually tried the first chapter of before and did not really like that much. And this one, I'm really not excited for at all, but I own it, so I should probably give it a try. I don't know. You guys go to the poll and you vote for whatever you want. Whatever wins will go on the TBR, and I will try to read it this month. I need you all to hold me accountable with this self-destruct goal. So that is the board as of now, and these are the letters that I will be carrying over to next month. Bane. Prompt to read the bane of my existence. That's not fun, but yeah, those are the letters. So everyone, those are this month's TBR picks. I will be reading Partners in Crime by Agatha Christie, The Name of the Rose by Umberto Eco, The Last Train to Key West by Chanel Cleaton, my two ARCs, The Poisoner's Ring and The Golden Spoon, plus whatever wins in that poll between my 5, these books will self-destruct books. So that's it for the February TBR. Do go vote in that poll. I would really like to hear your opinions. Please give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more from me. I post new videos every Wednesday and Sunday. My social media links are down below if you want to follow me on Tumblr, Instagram, or be my friend on Goodreads. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Bye, and I'll see you next time.